Well, hello and good morning to another edition of Wisdom Wednesday. It is the 8th of February, and we are exploring Proverbs chapter 8 today, titled The Blessings of Wisdom. And this chapter that Solomon writes about speaks of the timeless qualities and entity of wisdom, and how pursuit of wisdom above all else is paramount in what it looks like to live a wise life, that we must be in constant pursuit of. In fact, in verse 34, it says, "Blessed is the one who listens to me," this being the voice of wisdom, "watching daily at my gates and waiting beside my doors." We do not obtain wisdom, put it in our back pocket and say, "Made it." The pursuit of wisdom is something that is daily a focus of those who wish to be wise, who desire to be wise. And this is true of most things in life. A solid marriage doesn't happen one day and then you never need to work on it again. You continue to work on your marriage. Great parenting doesn't happen once, it happens constantly. Great leadership doesn't happen once, it happens every day in the trenches of the places that we lead and that we work and that we function. Great opportunities to share the message of Jesus happens and is pursued daily. If we rest on the laurels of yesterday, we're going to miss out on the values of today. If we read through a bit of Proverbs chapter 8 here, wisdom is speaking, or Solomon writes as if wisdom is speaking to us. And in verse 22, it says, "The Lord possessed me at the beginning of his work, at the first of his acts of old. Ages ago I was set up, at the first, before the beginning of the earth. When there was no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no springs abounding with water. Before the mountains had been shaped, before the hills, I was brought forth. Before he had made the earth with its fields, or the first of the dust of the earth. When he established the heavens, I was there. When he drew a circle on the face of the deep." Makes me wonder if he drew a little smiley face there. Don't know. "When he made firm the skies above, and when he established the foundations of the deep, when he assigned to the sea its limit, so that its water might not transgress his commands, when he marked out the foundations of the earth, then I was beside him, a master workman, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing before him always, rejoicing in his inhabited world and delighting in the children of men." What we see here is this beautiful imagery of the timeless entity that is wisdom. That the very nature of God, which formed, created, and spoke the universe into existence, which poured forth the manifestation of creation of Adam and Eve, bringing Adam from dust, bringing Eve from Adam, and encouraging them and telling them to populate the earth. And we see here that wisdom was there. Wisdom was a master workman, a tool of God's. God's very wisdom was present and is speaking over us in Proverbs chapter 8, delighting, rejoicing in not only the works of God, but also in the children of men. And last time I checked, that was you and I. And so wisdom actually has a desire to pursue us and calls us to pursue wisdom. Wisdom is timeless from generation to generation. It is a path of old. We need to be aware of the principles that have existed timelessly, because guess what? If they're eternal principles, they will last eternally. There are many things that we find knowledge in today that didn't exist, 4, 5, 10, 20, 50 years ago. And it's important to have knowledge in things that are new and developing, but it is the wisdom we speak about here during Wisdom Wednesday are these timeless principles written about in the Word of God, that regardless of how the world shapes or shifts or adapts or grows or changes, the principles remain the same, and we draw in the knowledge and understanding of things that are going on around us, and we apply the principles of God to them, that we might have wisdom in all things, that we might walk in a way of integrity and righteousness and good stewardship. Speaking of good stewardship, verse 10 and 11 speak of something right here. I'll read it out. It says, take my instructions, this is wisdom again, instead of silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than jewels, and all that you may desire cannot compare with wisdom. All that we would desire to possess is not as important as the wisdom it takes to live a life of good stewardship and faithfulness. There is so many times where we see the examples of this, especially when it comes to lotteries or inheritances or sports players and musicians who make it big, win big, get big really fast, yet they don't have the character developed behind it to steward that well. There's some crazy stats that over 70% of people who win significant amounts of money within the lottery are broke within 3 years because they don't have the principles or the character developed in their personal lives to manage or steward that resource. And so that resource leaves them because they don't know how to steward it. They don't know how to manage it. And so it is a shifting sand and a quicksand in their hands. And it is devastating to watch. The number of pro sports players who make what we would consider stupid amounts of money, that within 5 years of having left their sport, most people are only peak athletes for 5, 10, maybe 15 years. And then they just lose it all because they never understood. Their character was never developed. They preferred choice gold over knowledge. They preferred silver over wisdom. Dave Ramsey, in his book that he released in 2022 called Everyday Millionaire, writes that with slow incremental increases of wealth enables our character to slowly increase alongside it so that we are stable and balanced individuals. But when one of these is out of whack, we live an unbalanced life and there is danger ahead. If we have more than we can personally manage, we are bound to lose it because we are incapable of stewarding it. And so it is important for us as individuals to pursue wisdom and knowledge at all costs, as opposed to pursuing what we think we want with these things. Because when our character develops, so does our capacity. And when our capacity develops, so does our ability to be competent with these things. If we're incompetent and not capable and we don't have the wisdom, it's just like trying to hold water or catch the wind. It just doesn't work. And so there is a value to this. The results of pursuing wisdom daily are found in Proverbs 8:32 through 36. And now, O sons, listen to me. Blessed are you who keep my ways. This is the way of wisdom. Hear instruction and be wise. Do not neglect it. Blessed is the one who listens to me, watching daily at my gates and waiting beside my doors. For whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord. But all who fails to find me injures themselves, and all who hate me love death. Friend, it is of paramount importance that we recognize that this daily pursuit of wisdom leads us to a place of being in absolute awe of the things and the work and the creation of God. And that by pursuing wisdom, we find favor with the Lord because we rest in his timeless principles from the ages of past, where these principles were established throughout his word. And as a result, we begin to walk in these ancient paths. On the flip side, if we hate wisdom and if we hate these principles of old, wisdom says we love death. And that's not a great place to be. And so I want to encourage you today, spend some time in Proverbs, spend some time pursuing wisdom, gain knowledge at all costs. It is more important than the silver and gold we're chasing as we work our day jobs. And I am praying a blessing over you, that you would be a person who would pursue wisdom daily and would see the character development from wisdom in your life. God bless. Thank you for joining me for Wisdom Wednesday. We'll see you on the 15th.